Hello. My name is Jason Allen. I'm a realtor based in Palm Springs, California, and I regularly bring market reports for the 4 areas that I focus on in the Coachella Valley. Today is Palm Springs, and I'd like to talk to you about what's going on. It's hard out there. It's brutal. If you take into consideration the various things that are going on, let me just say that we have upheaval in the marketplace. Yes, things are selling. You'll see some numbers are improved. And no, it's not as if you can put your house on the market today and get an offer tomorrow, unless you are at such an attractive price that buyers recognize the value and jump on it. On a buy side, there are a lot more choices. More choices don't necessarily make it easier to find the house that you want to buy, especially when one starts to think, oh, something better might come on shortly. So I'm going to dive into the numbers. We can always talk about your specific interests if you give me a call. Here's the thing. Property value is determined by 3 things: property condition, property location, and market demand. This report talks about market demand, and then I do that every week. I go through this quick outline of what property condition is, what property location looks like, and what market demand looks like. I encourage you to pause the video, take a look at those. If you have any questions, you can make a comment below in the YouTube feed, or you can reach out to me directly. Here are the numbers. Now, historically, when we look at market reports, we tend to look at the most commonly used indicator as months of inventory. I find this to be an outdated metric. It's time sensitive, it's limited information. It aggregates fee land and lease land, which is an important consideration in our marketplace. Not true for everywhere in the country, but certainly in our marketplace. So what I've done is I've tried to reframe this and look at graphs that I've created. I do an over-under asking price scatter graph, and then a pending rate bar graph. Those are crucial because it gives you a window into what's happening today. I break it down into condos and houses. Now, I don't separate fee simple, which is land you own, versus lease land typically, and that's because we don't have a lot of sales going on right now. I can always do that when we talk about your specific interests or your specific property if you're selling the home. Here's the deal. Market demand on an over asking scatter graph shows you that most homes are going under the asking price. That's true for condos. You'll see it's true for single family dwellings as well. The red line represents the asking price. The blue dot represents a transaction in relationship to the asking price. There's one outlier here. I didn't dive into that. Sometimes the property is just so unique that multiple buyers recognize the value. Sometimes it's just so underpriced, right? We shouldn't typically see that sort of activity when the rest of the market looks like this. 2 things I'd have to say. If you're looking to sell your condo, you're going to have to anticipate getting at asking or under asking. The temptation is to list high in an effort to have room to come down. That's the wrong approach. That ends up extending your market time. And if we are in a market that is so unpredictable, things could get worse by the time you actually sell. And in a way, end up giving you less money at the end of the day. Plus, buyers are just staying away from homes that seem overpriced. Or if they do make an offer, it's a ridiculous offer well under what you should be getting for the home. This breaks it down as a pie chart. 75% of condos in Palm Springs are going under asking price. What does that leave? Roughly 25% that are going at the asking price or over. The other charts that are published tend to put all of these into one category of over asking. I break it down. You actually have 16.7% that are at asking, and then 8.3% that are above asking. Now, it's not quantifying the above asking. If we go back to this, these that are sort of slightly on the line or slightly above, maybe a couple of $100 to a few $1,000s over, but that would constitute as over asking. And then if we look at the market demand with regard to the pending rate graph, essentially pendings are things that have gone into contract, haven't closed yet. Now, obviously, if we look at this, things through July have certainly closed. There's no question about that. Maybe a few haven't because it's an extended escrow. But what you see is this breaks it down to during a specific month, how many things went pending. And if we look at August, it's a lot less than July, less than June, less than May. Our high water mark was in March of earlier this year. Now, when we start to see this go up, we can anticipate more closings in the following month. Escrows are usually about 30 days. I don't like this. I would rather see this as a higher number in August, but it's where we are. And then inventory, the condo inventory is down over last month. That just means that condos went into contract or were simply removed from the market. And then the inventory is up over last year. For a seller, lower inventory is better, fewer things for buyers to choose from. From a buyer's perspective, obviously, some more choice is better. There is a tipping point at which too much choice can paralyze someone, but this is where we're at. And then unit sales, up over last month, that's a positive. Up over last year, that's also a positive. It's not as if the bottom has fallen out of our market. We're seeing things go into contract and close. Now, if we go back to this, although property are closing under the ask price, keep in mind that doesn't mean that the seller is taking a loss. There are a whole lot of sellers that bought pre-pandemic, and therefore they have a lot of equity. It may, in fact, be why you see sellers willing to concede and make this sale. Might be a death in the family, could be they've relocated, they may not need or want a second home anymore. They may be folks that have decided to go back to wherever their home country is. It's encouraging to buyers to be in the marketplace and for sellers to be realistic. Do you want to take the chance by holding onto your property, a property that you may not be using anymore, in the hope that the market will get better for you? Or are you willing to recognize you are still taking a profit and then sell the property and move on? I'm going to go into houses. Houses in Palm Springs, over under asking price scatter graph, very similar. You see most properties going below the asking price. And notice we don't have a significant outlier here in either direction. And then true to form, 89.2% went under asking, 5.4 sold at asking, 5.4 sold over asking. Pending rate bar graph. Houses are taking a beating, I'm sorry to say. August, we saw fewer things go pending compared to July. June was actually fairly robust. And like condos, we may see some things from July, lease land properties closing in September. We assume most of what's there in August will close in September. Inventory year over year. House inventory is down over last month. It is up over last year. And unit sales, same as last month, up over last year. So year over year, we're doing better in some ways, although I wouldn't necessarily say on price. And if you'll notice, I don't include the median price anymore. Median is the house or condo that sold right in the middle, the price right in the middle. I don't know that that's useful. I understand that by tracking the median price over time, we can say, oh, the market is up 2%, down 5%, up 10%. But that doesn't speak to a specific seller situation, because your location, if we go all the way back to what sets price and we say it has to do with location, right? In a given market, by that I mean a given development, if houses are not selling well in that development, your price is going to come down. If the condition of the property is poor, that's not reflected in a median price. It doesn't really guide a seller or a buyer. I think it becomes crucial once you've Looking at these statistics overall, and I'll come back to my analysis here so you can kind of be looking at that while I speak to it. Market statistics help influence whether you're ready to buy or sell. What makes the difference is your level of motivation. For example, if mom or dad has passed away and it's time to sell the condo, you're unlikely to keep spending money on that, on an asset that you're not using, and wait for a market to improve. That's committed motivation. Or if you have a job relocation to the area, you don't want to be living in temporary housing on an extended period of time. That's significant motivation. The market analysis gives you a sense of whether or not you're getting good value, or you have to, if you're on the buy side, buck up and pay the extra cost in order to get into a market. Market analysis also helps influence if you are thinking about moving to an area, or buying a second home in an area, or selling your second home or your primary home because you kind of want to get closer to the grandkids, but you're not really sure. That sort of thing this information will influence that sort of a decision. Median price, not so much. Not in my opinion. It's too specific. Each home is unique based on location and condition, and then what the market is doing. Enough said on that. Condo sellers, sales are flat month over month, and most asking prices are being conceded. That means coming down, but sales are happening. House sellers, you are taking a beating with some houses selling well below asking price and previous sales. And condo buyers, there are many opportunities, excellent homes out there. House buyers, there are also many opportunities to buy excellent homes at this time. If you're thinking about a move, talk to me. I offer an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, completely free to analyze your circumstances. If you ask me for my opinion on what I think you should do, I'm happy to offer it. Oftentimes people walk away and just feel better informed. And then with respect to Keller Williams Worldwide, I have a vast network. If you are thinking of selling your home where you are and coming here, or selling your home here and going somewhere else, I'm happy to have a conversation with you and try and connect you with an agent like me that is data focused and market savvy with experience. You can always read about me. And I thank you for your time. I hope this report wasn't too fast. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.